look, printers. We do 3D printing stuff on this channel. In fact, this shelf was so crooked, I catted up and 3D printed some spacers so that it was level, so that when I put the printers on, they don't, this whole thing doesn't tip and rock over and fall down, because I haven't bolted it to the floor yet. Okay, so as you can see, this shelf is not exactly level, but that's because it's on a garage floor. Garage floors are sloped. So, quick 5 seconds in CAD, quick 3D print. We got these pretty solid ABS spacers that should level off our shelf. Okay, there you go, one in, and we're level. Easy peasy. But as you can see, things are nearing the end. So this will probably be the last part in the actual garage reno build series. So we got a bit to recap, so let's get to it. I find it's a lot easier to paint your trim before you install it, and then just touch up any areas that get dinged or damaged during the installation. Makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker. So after you install all the trim, you're gonna have to basically seal up. There's gonna be a ton of gaps, especially when you have an older garage like this and everything's warped to high heaven. So obviously between where the trims meet, between the trim and the door jamb, the wall and the base trim, there's gonna be gaps everywhere. So you go get a tube or several of something like this, painter's acrylic, latex, and you just use a caulking gun and you just fill in all the gaps, and then you can paint this stuff after. So by the way, for those that have never used a caulking gun before, most of them have everything you need to prep your caulking on it. So you have a plunger to pierce it, and you got a little snipper to snip it. So there you go. So just a small 45. Prime it. Have some paper towels on hand and get to it. And after you run a bead, don't be afraid to run your finger down it just to make sure it's all nice and clean. Okay, so we're going to be putting workbenches along this back wall here. They're going to be attached to the wall. So I've already gone to the Home Depot. I got butcher block one there, 6-foot one. But the problem is this area right here, because this door opens to the outside, and I've only got like 19 inches, and I still want to use this for something. So what I actually did, I went to the Habitat for Humanity Restore. You can buy a lot of over-ordered or surplus, or even like this countertop here I got from a demo for under 20 bucks. So I'm just gonna cut this to size so that I have a workspace behind the door, because this door won't be open a lot. So this work area I'm gonna basically model as the dirty area. So I'll have soldering irons anytime I gotta lube anything. This is gonna be like the wet work area. I'll probably try and put a fume extractor or fume hood above it, and then just pegboard up to the ceiling or something. So I'm gonna take this outside, take the circular saw to it, and cut it to size now. Voila. Okay, for now I just have a bracket there and it's just gonna rest on there, but just to kind of make sure everything fits where I want it to, just do this for now. There we go. And then the door opens, so we're good. So now I need to build a proper bench for it. So when it comes to shelves, you can buy pre-made ones or pre-made assemblies. I went fully from scratch because one, it's cheaper. Two, again, this floor is nowhere near flat. So pretty much like every leg on this thing to get a flat surface up top to work on is its own length. So it was a lot easier just to buy a dozen or so 2x4s, 2x6s, and just sort of YOLO it when it comes to the actual design of the shelf. Also, this back wall isn't exactly flat. So DIYing it kind of gives you the ability to kind of make it fit to the workspace you have. Plus it allows you to customize it. So for example, I've got a small toolbox. This is high enough here, I can roll it underneath. So yeah, so obviously I'm going to do some painting before I finally attach these countertops. Some trim work along there, just to make it a little bit better. But we got ourselves some workbenches now. Okay, so as you can see, we got the computer out here in the garage shop, and we have internet. Nice, big, fat gigabit. But getting Ethernet out here was fun. So as you can see, we have an outlet now. I can plug an Ethernet cable in there. Boom, internet. But this is a garage. Cars could potentially park in here. So you can't just go and punch a hole in your wall. It's got to be sealed so that carbon monoxide doesn't get into your house. So I could have just drilled a hole and sealed it up and just had the Ethernet cable dangling out. But instead, just ran some PVC conduit, sealed it all the way up to a box. It's got a gasket on it for an Ethernet cable. So now, on the bright side, if I need to run any more cables from the house to the garage, to at least that point, I got nice, easy conduit to run it through. Easy peasy. Okay, so there we go. That looks a little bit better. I'll probably swap these screws or nails that it's hanging off of with magnets, just so it's a little bit cleaner and doesn't move. But the whole point of doing this was, one, you hide the electrical panel so you don't see it. With CNC stuff here, I just don't want dust and just stuff flying, and get the wires out of sight, out of mind. Also, the whole point of this part up here is if I have to run, or if the future owner of this house has to run any electrical to the box, getting the wires from the attic space down to the box would be a pain if this was all drywall. So this piece of scrap OSB that I had here, and I bodged this whole thing together, it looks better on camera than real life, trust me. It's just held on with 2 screws. So I could just take 2 screws, take this panel off here, and then just cut through the vapor barrier, take the insulation out, and then you can run wires up and down. So that way you're not cutting through drywall, and then you can put it back on after redoing the vapor barrier with some duct tape. So it just makes potential future changes a little bit easier. It also cleans up the electrical box so it doesn't stand out as much. So there you go. So getting the garage set up now, and one of the annoying things is cameras and lighting and monitors and whatnot, and being able to move it around, but tripods suck, they take up a ton of room. So what I've got here is, it's a Visa arm. So this, I can move it around. This is a ball head, so I can pivot the camera angle. The monitor, I can move that around, bring it in, bring it out. It's attached to, these are Visa arms for mounting computer monitors, so they're nice and beefy. So I can pull everything out, I can record what I need to record, and then when I'm done, I can go ahead and just kind of fold it all back up. Yeah, I gotta do some wire management, I gotta mount the power brick to something still. But I can fold everything up and get it all out of the way. So I've got all my floor space back. So voila, easy peasy. Okay, so if you're wondering about vibrations, remember this is a VESA arm. This is meant for computer monitors, so it's pretty beefy. So this countertop here is about 2 inches thick. It's a fake butcher block one. We ain't got the budget for the real butcher block ones, but it's attached. It's actually screwed down and bolted to the 2x4 frame of this bench, which has a ton of screws in it, and then also the whole thing is bolted to the wall. So if I'm working on here, you know, normal blah, 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 yeah, there's a little bit of vibration transfer, but not a lot. But also, remember, I'm not actually building on this bench. I'm gonna be using this bench. Right now it's for the mess. But I'm gonna be building on my toolbox. Woo. So I'm gonna be building on this, which isn't attached to the bench at all. In fact, it's on wheels, I can move it around. So vibrations aren't really an issue I'm gonna be really worried about too much. And this thing is tanky AF, and I actually have the ability to, right now it's clamped on, I can actually bolt it through the bench itself if I needed even a more rigid mount. So it's, I think we're gonna be okay. So yeah, we're pretty much ready to go. I've got the camera set up, I've got a workbench, we're already starting a build. So thank you for being patient through this whole build series. I know it's taken a little bit longer and normal content has taken a hit. I know that, I can see the numbers. But this should give us some room to grow and to actually start on things I've been wanting to do for a while, namely actual projects on the channel, because now I actually have a dedicated workspace to work in, and I'm not all cramped in the room in the basement. So that's gonna get redone into a studio. If you've been watching the streams, you kind of get an idea what it's gonna look like. But here we go, and we're on to the next chapter now. So for those that support the channel, the content I create, and the things I do, I thank you, because I would not be able to do it without your continued support. Cheers. So right now, as you can see, it's currently 33.5 Celsius with almost 50% humidity out here. And you can actually hear some of the printers are actually tripping their MCU fans because it's so hot out here. The fans are automatically kicking in. So yeah, we need to sort out the cooling out here pretty quickly.